An emotional explosion, an unexpected surprise, and deep concern enveloped the global BTS fan community, ARMY, after a dramatic moment occurred just before JUNGKOOK completed his military service. With tears streaming and silent embraces, the world witnessed a rare portrait of togetherness behind the fences of South Korea's military. But did TAEHYUNG truly arrive unannounced at the military camp where JUNGKOOK was serving? Why did JIMIN shed tears after that moment? And what caused millions of fans to begin questioning the truth behind this touching encounter? It all began with a surprising report. TAEHYUNG, who had just completed his military duties, was said to have visited the military camp where JUNGKOOK was still stationed. Without any announcement, media presence, or celebrity attributes, TAEHYUNG's arrival was described as such an emotional event that JUNGKOOK froze in place. Many called the moment one of the most genuine portrayals of the relationship among BTS members, long seen not merely as colleagues, but as family. But it didn't stop there. JIMIN, who learned of the event, was reportedly very emotional. In a limited interaction with internal staff, JIMIN was said to have remained silent for a long time, cried, and refused to comment for a while. This reaction sparked further questions. What did the moment truly mean for the BTS members? Why was JIMIN so emotionally moved? And more importantly, did any of this actually happen? JUNGKOOK himself, in a quote allegedly from an informal conversation with military staff, said he didn't expect TAEHYUNG to come. "I thought he'd rest after finishing his duty, but he stood in front of me. It was one of the most beautiful surprises in my life." That quote circulated widely and reinforced the narrative of a personal and meaningful surprise. But it was from this point that critical doubts emerged. How authentic was that statement? Although the story was emotional and touched many hearts, skepticism began to arise from various circles, including media and academics. Some voiced concern over how quickly the narrative spread without any concrete evidence. There were no visual documents, no photos or videos to prove the event occurred. No reports from South Korean media, which usually responds promptly to events involving BTS members. Even their agency, known for its swift response to such publicity, remained silent. On the other hand, fans, especially ARMY, found themselves in a dilemma. On one hand, they wanted to believe the emotional meeting was real, as proof of the closeness they had always supported. But on the other, the absence of evidence made them worry they were being swept into an emotional narrative that may not be true. Many posted on social media that they cried while reading the story, only to start questioning whether their tears were rooted in reality or just collective imagination. The concern intensified when some fan bases began circulating photos claimed to document the moment. Upon review by more skeptical fan communities, it was found that these photos were edited from older images taken when BTS was still active as a group before any member began military service. Some circulating video clips also turned out to be old footage edited to align with the current narrative. This only deepened worries that the story of TAEHYUNG visiting JUNGKOOK at the military camp may never have happened at all. In South Korea's military environment, inter-division access is highly restricted and strictly monitored. It would be impossible for someone, even a celebrity who just completed service, to enter another camp without a lengthy formal procedure. Especially not without prior notice, no official escort, and no documentation. Military protocols demand strict discipline and layered security, making spontaneous actions as described in the story highly unlikely, but the most striking aspect was JIMIN's reaction. Some Korean pop culture analysts suggest that his response might reflect more than just sentimentality. It could be a surge of frustration over the relentless public expectations burdening the members' private lives. JIMIN is known to be sensitive to internal group dynamics and highly protective of BTS's member bonds. If the narrative is untrue, he might have felt emotional pressure from fans' desire to construct their own stories to feel warmth during the group's hiatus. Professor Lee Hyun-woo, a contemporary culture expert from Yonsei University, cautions, when a story that's emotionally too perfect spreads without factual validation, we must pause. Not to doubt the love of fans, but to uphold information integrity in the digital age. He added, emotion is the most effective tool for spreading information, but also the most dangerous if not supported by evidence. Now, attention turns to what truly happened. If the emotional meeting really occurred, why hasn't anyone confirmed it? If it didn't happen, why did so many believe it and even cry over it? ARMY is now split into two camps. those still holding on to hope that the story is real, and those demanding transparency and clarification to maintain BTS's credibility as a global group. The silence from BTS members has only intensified the confusion. But one thing is certain: this emotional narrative, whether real or not, has left a significant impact on how the public perceives BTS's inter-member relationships. Amid hopes for BTS's full reunion after completing military service, this moment, whether true or fictional, has revealed one undeniable truth: the public's deep desire to feel warmth, togetherness, and love from a group that has become an inseparable part of millions of lives. Now, the public waits, not just for confirmation, but for reflection, that behind the surprise and the tears lies a profound need for connection. And whether the moment between Taehyung and Jungkook truly happened or not, what matters more is how the story touched many hearts and captured a collective longing for sincere unity and closeness in an increasingly complex world. The moment claimed to be Taehyung's sudden visit to the military camp where Jungkook was stationed triggered an emotional reaction from millions of fans, raising an unavoidable question: did this really happen? Or is it just a systematically crafted narrative designed to attract public attention and strengthen the emotional image of BTS members? As widely known, the initial information about the meeting spread rapidly through platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, without any visual source or official documentation to verify its authenticity. No reports from South Korea's mainstream media, no press release from the agency, no amateur video from eyewitnesses, not a single strong piece of evidence that can be considered journalistically valid. So the question is, why do we still believe it? Why is collective emotion so powerful that it blurs the line between reality and desire? This isn't just a fandom or fanaticism issue. It's a broader social phenomenon. When society, especially online communities like ARMY, deeply yearns for emotional moments from their idols, sometimes the line between fact and fiction becomes blurred. Then, have we as an audience become part of a cycle that normalizes the spread of unverified information simply because it feels good? Let's examine this more critically. Is it truly possible that Taehyung accessed a military camp unaccompanied, without prior notice and without official permission, just to privately meet Jungkook? Keep in mind, South Korea's military security system isn't that easy to bypass, not even for a high-profile figure like Taehyung. Have we been too quick to accept the possibility simply because we want to believe that BTS members are that close and would do the extraordinary for a single hug? Even if the meeting did happen privately and away from the public eye, why is the circulated story so detailed and emotional? Who created that narrative? What was the motivation? In today's fast-paced, algorithm-driven information landscape, stories like this may well be constructed with a single main goal: engagement. Clicks, comments, and viral spread are the main currency in the digital age. But beyond all that, we as information consumers must dare to ask one fundamental question: does this narrative reflect reality? Or is it just a reflection of what we want to believe? JIMIN, who was reportedly very emotional after learning about the moment, his reaction also deserves scrutiny. Did he truly cry out of being touched? Or was it out of frustration over an unfolding narrative lacking foundation? Many fans speculate that JIMIN is highly sensitive to how the public perceives BTS's member relationships. But evidence about JIMIN's feelings is also very limited and not from direct quotes. So how much trust can we place in such indirect testimony? In such situations, it is crucial to instill the basic principle of media literacy. Not everything that goes viral is true, and not everything that touches the heart comes from reality. We're called to ask critical questions. Who first spread this narrative? Where did the quotes attributed to Jungkook and Taehyung come from? Why hasn't any credible news outlet reported on this story in depth with documentation? Why did this narrative emerge at such a strategic time, when BTS is on hiatus and the public craves member interaction? It must be realized that emotional attachment to public figures like BTS is natural and human. However, such attachment can also be a gateway for information manipulation. We, as part of a digitally connected society, have a responsibility not only to absorb information, but also to verify it before spreading it. Are you completely certain that moment truly happened? If your answer is yes, what is the basis of that belief? If no, why are so many still crying over it?